Fire stations, apparently she couldn't get in touch with anyone, but when she got here, it set off this massive scare, an evacuation of the fire station, a lockdown of Royal Palm Elementary, although, as you mentioned, Rudabeh, they have now released those children. But this has been unfolding for the past hour or so. Traffic backed up in the area. Residents kept far away from this area. The media kept back as well. People obviously concerned, fearing that there might be some sort of explosion, but it looks at this point like that bomb robot has been able to separate 2 of the 3 materials. We will stay on this and keep you posted about the outcome. Live in Lauderhill, Kerry Codd, CBS 4 News.
Kerry, thank you for that. Now at 6, a 17-year-old fights for his life after rescuing a mother and her son from drowning at Virginia Key Beach.
I'm honestly very proud of him. I know that he did this, it was a selfless act. He didn't think twice to go and help people out.
Tonight, words of praise and a show of support for a young hero. Christian Burgos' mother was in tears as she talked to us today about her son.
CBS 4's Peter Dench is live at Jackson Memorial Hospital with the latest. Peter.
Well, Rudabeh and Elliott family members tell us Christian Burgos is in a coma. It is in critical but stable condition here at the hospital, but they are hopeful. His fellow students from Booker T. Washington High School are with him. Now, his mother, we spoke with her, well, she tells us she is single and from Nicaragua. She says she is proud of her son, but she is very worried. She says she is happy because her 17-year-old son, Christian Burgos, saved the lives of a woman and her own 9-year-old son when they were pulled offshore at Virginia Key by a strong current. But she cries because her son nearly drowned while rescuing the 2 people who are grateful.
If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be alive right now. This is why I'm here, to tell him thank you.
Burgos was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where we also spoke with his cousin.
Well, I'm honestly very proud of him. I know that he did this, it was a selfless act. He didn't think twice to go and help people out, and I know it was just his instinct.
I feel really proud of him, and you know, like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, that was very, like, irresponsible of him just going out there, but honestly, like, if I was him, I would have done the same.
Booker T. Washington High School students signed this poster and took it to the hospital.
I admire him very much. He showed that he's an incredible human being. He risked his life. He's a warrior. He's fighting for his own life, but when he wakes up, he's going to know that he saved a woman, a mom, and a boy.
This was a selfless act of heroism that needs to be recognized. And I think our community ought to join in prayer for this remarkable young man.
Christian's family has launched a GoFundMe page to help pay for medical expenses.
Proud, but at the same time saddened by how it ended up coming out, the outcome, but I just hope he recovers fast.
He would be happy that he saved those 2 people, and I know he's still fighting for his life, and we'll know that he'll make it and he'll see this one day.
Now, Burgos' cousins tell us that while he is in a coma, he has been breathing on his own. He's a senior at Booker T. Washington High School and had been trying out for the soccer team. As for the mother and her young son who he saved, they were released after being evaluated. We're live at Jackson Memorial Hospital. Peter Dench, CBS 4 News.
Peter, thank you. New details in the investigation into the whereabouts of a missing 16-year-old. Her name is Destiny Rose, and police were initially concerned because of a social media stream sent to her aunt. And now Davie police say new video has been obtained showing Destiny in the Hallandale Beach area 2 days after she walked out of a group home she was assigned to in Southwest Ranches. Destiny was seen with another girl and a man matching the description of the man seen in the video sent to her aunt. The vehicle is believed to be a red Mercury Mountaineer or Ford Explorer 2002 to 2005 model with a sunroof. If you've seen Destiny or the vehicle, you're asked to call Broward Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS.
Well, it's becoming a daily event in coastal South Florida. King tide flooding. Chopper 4 over the scene in the Las Olas area of Fort Lauderdale. Streets that look more like streams. And this is video taken today around high tide in Matheson Hammock Park in Coral Gables. Even though king tide flooding here is nothing new, it seems to be worse this time around.
This is the worst I've ever seen the water. It's the highest it's ever come here and in this station.
It's high, it's invasive, there's swimming pools that are completely flooded down the street. I'm amazed by it.
Well, there is some good news in all of this. The flooding should lessen in the coming days. CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer is here with more on the king tide phenomenon. Craig.
Yeah, kind of a triple play going on here. We have our typical tides that are very high this time of year because of a gravitational pull between the sun, the earth, and the moon. But we've also got a couple of other factors going on. One is very large ocean swells and energy in the ocean that have been generated from Lorenzo, a very, very large hurricane that's really got the Atlantic, especially the North Atlantic, stirred up, and those swells reaching the east coast. That puts a little bit of pressure on that high tide cycle. But as we go through the rest of the week, by Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday, that swell and that ocean energy begins to fall away across South Florida. The other big thing is our wind. It's been up, and it's been from the northeast, and you'd think, well, the northeast isn't blowing the water, but in fact, because of a principle known as the Ekman transport. Don't worry, you don't need to remember. Just know that it means that when the winds are from the northeast, the ocean tends to go from east to west. So we have water transport towards the shore, and that also piles up the water. So during times of high tide, the water levels are just a bit higher. But there is some relief ahead. The high tide cycle begins decreasing tomorrow, so our high tides are a little bit lower each day. Gravitational effects begin to diminish. Lorenzo ocean influence also decreases this week, and the northeast winds will also begin to relax tomorrow. So everything looking better as we go through the week. More on that coming up.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Now at 6, police make an arrest in a disturbing crime out of Sunny Isles Beach. While babysitting her toddler grandchild, a woman was allegedly raped, and tonight police say the handyman did it. CBS 4's Joan Murray is live in Sunny Isles Beach with that story. Joan.
Well, this man wasn't a stranger, Rudabeh. In fact, the woman told police she's known him for some time, so it wasn't unusual when he came here late last week to do some work at her daughter's condo. But then she says it all went very wrong.
When he wasn't posing in his Pink Floyd T-shirt, 68-year-old Hoover Hundawat spent his days working as a handyman.
You're being charged with sexual battery with a deadly weapon or serious bodily injury.
Now he's in jail accused of a terrible crime. A 66-year-old woman says Hundawat raped her at knife point while he was doing work in her daughter's Sunny Isles Beach condo.
The defendant had no means to escape, and physically, the defendant then physically headbutted the victim and pushed her against her will and threw her onto the bed.
According to the police report, the woman says Hundawat became aggressive. She said no and stopped and backed away in fear. She claims he grabbed a sharp steak knife with a blade of 5 inches and told her, "You are going to give it to me."
Sí, por favor.
Hundawat told the judge he wanted a private lawyer he hired to plead his case for bond. That happened in the afternoon.
He's lived here for 18 years, has always worked. He does, according to the A form, speak to the police officers and states, hey, we had consensual sex.
Despite that, the judge had reservations about releasing Hundawat.
Counts 1 and 2, I'm going to hold him no bond. On count 3, I'll set it at $5,000.
Hundawat denies anything happened. He told police it was consensual sex, but he remains in jail. It may be up to a jury in a trial to decide who to believe. In Sunny Isles Beach, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.
Joan, thanks a lot. Now to a CBS 4 News safety alert. 2 middle school students have been arrested in connection with the threat made against a school. Miami-Dade Schools police say the threat was posted on social media against McMillan Middle School in southwest Miami-Dade. The school was not placed on lockdown, but there were additional officers at the school today as a precaution. The 2 students who were arrested have not been identified, but the school district is investigating whether more students may have been involved.
New at 6, new laws going into effect mean new motivation to put the phone down while you drive anywhere in Florida. As of today, police and state troopers can pull you over for using a handheld device anywhere near a school or in a construction zone. That includes talking as well as texting. At a press conference in Miami today, Florida Department of Transportation Secretary James Wolf said avoiding a tragedy can be as easy as putting down your phone.
Highway fatalities are increasing. Highway crashes are increasing. And we all know why. It's distracted driving. The people that can really make a difference here are the drivers. Be safe, be smart, put it down.
If you are stopped between now and the end of the year, you'll get a formal warning, but come January, you'll get a ticket.
Students, faculty, and staff at Barry University took time out today to remember the university's former president who passed away earlier this year. A memorial mass was held for Sister Jean O'Loughlin. A prominent figure in the South Florida community, Sister Jean was a champion of women's rights and fought for compassion for refugees seeking asylum in South Florida. She was president of Barry University from 1981 until 2004. Sister Jean passed away June 18th at age 90.
Still ahead at 6, both runways are now back open at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, and there was a big celebration to mark the occasion. We'll show it to you after the break.
And these four-legged Dorian survivors who arrived here weeks ago are now ready for adoption. How you can make a difference next.
It was a long-awaited day today at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. After months of repairs, the north runway is finally back open.
With that comes more planes and more people. CBS 4's Ted Scouten has a story from FLL.
And I want to welcome you here to the relaunch of runway 10 left, 28 right.
The first plane to take off on FLL's revamped and reconstructed north runway. It's a project that took 4 months, meaning since June, the north runway was closed, pushing all the traffic to the south runway.
We wanted to make sure that the runway was going to be sturdy, safe, and secure to support this airport, again, for decades into the future.
Usually, revamping a runway means the top few inches are scraped off and new concrete and asphalt are laid over it. In this case, the work was much more in-depth, pretty much rebuilding the entire thing, a runway that's been here since 1943.
This was a full-depth excavation and reconstruction of the runway, right down to the subgrade, building it up with a 6-inch concrete base, and then anywhere from 17 to 21 inches of concrete up on top on the keel section.
This was a $95 million project. Part was paid by grants and part by passengers.
It should be noted that FLL's patrons, our passengers, helped significantly fund the cost of this rehabilitation through a user fee known as the Passenger Facility Charge, or PFC, that is placed on passengers' airline tickets when they're flying out of FLL.
And here's something you won't see anywhere else: public art at the end of the runway. viewable by passengers who are waiting to depart.
We have what we think is the country's only jet blast reflector that is not only functional but is also a great piece of public art, and it is entitled In Flight.
The new work is expected to extend the runway's life for another 30 years.
Give me 2 miles of highway, and I'll get you 2 miles down the road. Give me 2 miles of rail, and I'll get you 2 miles down the track. Give me 2 miles of runway, and I'll get you anywhere in the world.
And you can see it still looks like an active construction area out there. That's because it is, because over the next 30 to 45 days, the runway will close each night so crews can continue to work on taxiways. At Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, Ted Scouten, CBS 4 News.
Ted, thank you. Now, more than a month after Dorian, a few four-legged survivors rescued from the Bahamas are ready for their forever homes. The Humane Society of Broward County partnered with other local rescue groups to take in 22 homeless dogs and cats from shelters on the Abaco Islands and Nassau. And after 2 weeks of treatment, they are now ready for their homes.
Please just check our website for their pictures and come and visit them. They're all really deserving of good homes. They've been through quite a bit in the last month, and they are ready for the next adventure.
So if you're interested in adopting a new pet, you can visit the Humane Society of Broward County 7 days a week from 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
That's awesome. You can name them after one of the islands, you know,
Yes.
Abaco, Bimini.
Yes,
So cute,
that's a good name, Bimini. I like it.
Yeah, let's check in with Craig right now. We got a lot of wind coming out there.
We do. We can name one of the pets green turtle.
That is an island.
Even if you adopt a green turtle. Here's what's going on. Our Keys camera this afternoon. Just a few clouds out there. The breeze blowing. It is pretty windy. Temperature 84 in Miami, 83 Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, 85 in Key West. 5 on the stickiness scale. Feels like 88. Northeast breeze gusting up to 24. A little bit of rain across the area, but more is on the way, especially for the Keys and maybe skirting South Dade, though most of this activity has been kind of bending its way toward the Keys there. Just a quick shower here or there in Miami-Dade and Broward, but it looks like the upper Keys is going to get some heavier downpours now heading into Key Largo, Isla Mirada, and Tavernier. That will work its way down to the lower Keys later on. Wind gusts today anywhere from the upper 20s to the mid 30 mile per hour range, and high temperatures today in the upper 80s to the low 90s, right near normal. The satellite loop showing the clouds zipping on by on that northeast breeze. A bigger picture showing it's pretty unsettled down to the south in the Caribbean. Anytime we see thunderstorms kind of meandering, roaming around, we keep a close eye. Development potential of this area of low pressure is low. It's forecast to move to the northwest, and there's lots of wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico. So even as it moves to the northwest, that low pressure area development really not expected with it. What is expected is this tropical moisture heading our way. In the meantime, tomorrow, moisture on the breeze means more showers blowing by, but then for Thursday and Friday, deeper moisture comes in. So a better chance for showers and thunderstorms on Thursday, and then maybe lingering into Friday a bit. But it looks like the weekend, some drier air will return to the area, so rain chances go back down. But I don't think we're done with this deep tropical moisture. It'll probably come back up in one form or the other early to the middle part of next week. And so it looks like chances for rain will be on the increase, especially next week. Wow, look at the temperatures across much of the middle and southeast part of the country, 80s and 90s and lots of record highs today. This heat wave's been ongoing for a time. Contrast that to the big cold outbreak in the northern Rockies. They've had heavy snow there, and there's a sharp front there separating the 88 in Kansas City from the 38 in Rapid City. And that's where we're seeing some big thunderstorms. For us tonight, breezy at times, some passing showers, especially in the Keys, a low near 78. Tomorrow, look for a mix of sun and clouds. Still breezy, but not as windy as today. Quick showers blowing by, a high near 88 degrees. For boaters east-northeast at 15 on the water. Seas running 3 to 5 feet, a moderate chop on the bays. Taking us through the rest of the week. Breezy again tomorrow. Spotty storms around for your Thursday and Friday. And the weekend right now, sunshine and just a few storms, and pretty warm too. Back to you.
Craig, thanks a lot. It was a very special day for a former rugby player and patient at Jackson Rehabilitation Hospital. 9 years ago, James Woody Beckham was playing a college rugby match when he was tackled and injured. Beckham was left paralyzed from the waist down. After his treatment and rehabilitation, his family and friends set out to honor him with their nonprofit, the Woody Foundation. The charity raises money to improve the lives of people living with paralysis. And today, Woody donated a check for $31,000 to the center that saved his life.
Being a patient myself, I believe in continual improvement, and I think that the therapist here really helped push me and showed me how I could continually improve.
Over the last 9 years, the Woody Foundation has donated over $200,000 for brand new equipment and treatment for patients who suffered spinal cord injuries.
Congratulations. Tonight in sports, the start of the NBA season is nearing.
The Miami Heat held their first practice today. Jim Barry has that and more next. And don't forget, if you're not near a TV, you can still watch all our newscasts streaming live at cbsmiami.com. Jim is here, and the Heat are not messing around when they say you better be in shape.
Rudibay's upset about this. I'll tell you what. Yeah.
I don't like the shaming factor.
Well, I tend to agree with you, but you know, there's our shape, there's basketball shape, then there's Heat shape. The Heat today began training camp without James Johnson, who flunked his conditioning test. Pat Riley says the forward will rejoin the team as soon as he passes. 19 other guys were on the floor when Coach Spo blew the whistle to crank things up this morning. And Jimmy Butler, the new go-to guy, seems mighty happy to get cranking with his new Heat teammates. And he already seems to get the Heat's hard-driving culture that Udonis Haslem has lived and breathed now for 16 years. So no wonder Haslem spent an hour encouraging James Johnson to shape up.
And I love JJ like a brother. Like I told him, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy for any of us. You know, a lot of things that we have to do in order to be great, in order to be a part of this team, in order to be a champion. It's not easy, and this organization is not for everybody. But if you fall in line and do the things that they ask you to do, you can become a champion.
Now, Butler looked mighty chipper greeting students at Kaiser University, where the Heat is training. I thought he might have been bleary-eyed since he has become the newest member of the Heat's informal breakfast club. These guys, you see, are up at the crack of dawn to get in a workout before practice.
How did I get in today? I clocked in at 3:30. 3:30.
So whoever wants to show up early, man. You know, I was doing a lot of this summer. Today, slept in, stretched a little bit, watched the sunrise. So I've been in Breakfast Club long enough.
Get up and go to work. I mean, just work out. Get a coach, you know, set a time, and wake up in the morning and do what you gotta do.
Not at 3:30. All right, after a week off, the football Canes are back in action this weekend against Virginia Tech, and they'd love to show off the turnover chain a few times against the Hokies. After 2 losses, UM has rebounded with a blowout win over Bethune-Cookman and a too-close-for-comfort victory over Central Michigan. Now, Saturday at Hard Rock, the Canes finally expect transfer Bubba Bolden to hit the field. The highly touted safety who got booted from the team at USC is anxious for a fresh start.
Just super excited. It's going to be a lot of emotions. Just plan to go out there and just do my job. I think I could provide a lot, I got experience playing. I'm an older guy. I really know the game a lot.
And finally, despite their 0-4 start, the Dolphins still have their sense of humor. Players had fun hamming it up yesterday for photo day. They will practice again tomorrow before scattering since this is their bye weekend. The Dolphins are back in action a week from Sunday when they host the Washington Redskins. Now, the Dolphins are 0-4. The Redskins, they play the Patriots Sunday, so they probably will be 0-5. So something has to give when they meet in a little over a week.
I'll cross my fingers.
That's right.
At least it's somewhat even.
That's right. Very even.
Thank you, Jim. CBS 4 News at 6. We'll be right back. And don't forget, if you see news or weather happening, take a picture, send it to us. Our email is cbs4pics@cbs.com. You might see your pictures on TV and online.
Good evening, Elliott and Rudabeh. Tonight on the CBS Evening News, a stunning verdict in Dallas as a former police officer is found guilty of murdering a man inside his apartment. Also, Florida's controversial new law allows some teachers to carry guns to school. Will it keep kids safe? And our series, Medical Price Roulette. A woman who thought insurance covered her emergency procedure is hit with huge bills. What do you need to ask when you go to the hospital? We've got those stories and much more tonight on the CBS Evening News, right after CBS 4 News at 6.
That's our news for now. The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell is next, and we're back with CBS 4 News at 7.
And don't forget, you can always watch all our newscasts streaming live on our website, cbsmiami.com. We'll see you in half an hour.
Good night.
This is your CBS 4 News Update on MyTV 33.
I'm Rudy Shavazi. A mother and son caught in a strong rip current tonight. The hero teen who saved them. And a man who lost his dogs finds them as our camera was rolling. The reunion you have to see to believe. Switch over and join us for CBS 4 News at 11.
This is CBS 4 News at 7.
Emotional. She says 17-year-old Christian Burgos is the best son, the most beautiful person I've ever known. Burgos nearly drowned while rescuing a
And king tide is the worst I've ever seen it. In 58 years, this is the worst.
He makes the point that they want to depose these people, but they have to give them time to get a lawyer or to get a counsel and prepare for that. That puts them in legal jeopardy. They're denying them witness. They're denying them the right to have State Department counsel if they're present at their depositions, which is illegal because the State Department also has rights. These people, for example, do not have the legal authority to hand over classified documents to Congress. That is a decision for the executive branch, led by the president, and in the case of the State Department, the Secretary of State. So there's a bunch of legal reasons why they should.
As Secretary of State Mike Pompeo kicked off a European tour in Rome,
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Geiger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. No outbursts.
Former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger has been found guilty of murder in the shooting death of her 26-year-old neighbor, Botham Jean. The 31-year-old took the stand in her own defense, testifying about the night she says she mistakenly entered Jean's apartment thinking it was her own.
I pulled my gun out.
Starting today, students in Bay County schools along the Florida Panhandle may be walking into a classroom where the teacher is carrying a concealed handgun. Bill Husfeld is the superintendent.
Everybody wants to know, how do we prevent it? How can we stop it? We don't look at it as we want more guns. We look at it as we want more protection.
Stay connected 24/7 with the CBS Local app and on CBSMiami.com.
We wanted to make sure that the runway was going to be sturdy, safe, and secure to support this airport.
The CBS 4 Nat Moore Trophy is sponsored by FPL.
Okay, so we're out here with Tiayu Jones-Bell, wide receiver for Carroll City, and I think everyone knows you're going to Alabama, and you wear it right on your sleeve. Actually, you're wearing it on your back right now. Show off the Alabama backpack. This is what happens when you're one of the top recruits in the country. What was that like? I mean, we were talking a little bit off camera about you talking and meeting Nick Saban. You lit up with a huge smile. What was it like getting that call from Alabama?
Well, it was shocking. I didn't expect it, actually. But when I got it, I was amazed, but I was on it. Yeah, that's a school I really wanted to go to.
And that was a school that really wanted him. Tiayu says when Nick Saban called, he had a feeling Bama would be his next home. He wanted to follow in the footsteps of another wideout from Miami that ended up in Tuscaloosa, Amari Cooper.
Off that play action move of his, sidestep left, come back right. Cooper's wide open. Touchdown, Alabama.
You get to follow in that line of great players.
Well, I just got to bring that South Florida talent to the table. That's all. That South Florida talent.
Tiayu says he had 38 catches last season. 17 of those ended up being touchdowns. Part of the reason his nickname is Snap, because when he's got the ball, he's gone.
I'm 5'11", 185, but there's no way I could do what you do on the football field. Can you kind of describe the kind of athlete you are out there?
Versatile. I can do it all. Deep bomb, screen, that's my favorite. I like when the ball in my hand, I make it happen on the man.
The CBS 4 Nat Moore Trophy is sponsored by FPL. Activate your FPL Energy Analyzer today at FPL.com/takecontrol. the CBS 4 Nat Moore Trophy.
Of an awesome man by the name of Edward Pearson. We gather here on the world has many
You know. So now, days out.
If he does Thursday, that way you don't have to do 2 days in a row. I mean, right? Hey, Tess. Hey, Dan.
Well, it's a 5-day run with 1 day in between with Jim. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. It's just a little obnoxious that it's like every time. You know what I mean? Like every time it's an issue. Check, 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 check. 1, 2.
We had quality candidates apply through.
It's
very important.
Yes. I wish the team was playing better. Well, that's true.
Told them he has a 98% chance of not making it. We are here, and thank you very much for calling us up, and it's nice to hear from somebody before the 7 o'clock show. Yeah. Hopefully the HD1 will stay with us through the intro and the outro.
This is CBS 4 News at 7.
We are continuing to follow developments in a potentially explosive hazardous materials situation in Lauderhill. The bomb squad has just finished securing potentially explosive chemicals that were taken to a firehouse. This is all playing out on the 1900 block of Northwest 56th Avenue.
A nearby school was on lockdown at one point before the children were released to their parents. CBS 4's Carrie Codd joins us now from the scene with the very latest information. Carrie?
What an ordeal here today. So this is what unfolded. We're told a 71-year-old woman brought a bucket full of potentially hazardous materials here to the Lauderhill Fire Department around 4 o'clock today. In fact, you can still see the lid of that bucket in the front of this fire station. That set off an all-out effort by the Lauderhill Fire Department to evacuate this building, lock down a school across the street, and get the bomb squad here to try and figure out how to deal with these materials. We're told that these three separate materials by themselves are stable, not necessarily hazardous, but the way they were in this container, even though they were in separate containers inside that bucket, that if they had combined in some way, it could have caused a large fire, a large explosion. It took several hours for the BSO bomb squad robot to get access to that bucket, isolate each of those particular materials, separate them so they could not mix, and take them out of here. We're told that 71-year-old woman was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to get rid of these materials that she said her husband, who was a Vietnam veteran, had in the garage of one of their homes, and so she brought them here. In fact, she brought them to 3 different fire stations before here, but she wasn't able to get in touch with anyone before she wound up here to try to get rid of those materials. We're told the FBI showed up, and that woman has been questioned by the FBI and by local police to try to figure out where these materials came from, whether there are any more of them. In fact, we're told that Bomb Squad is going to the 2 residences that she owns to try to make sure there's no other hazardous materials there that need to be disposed of. Finally, Lauderhill police tell us this woman was, again, trying to do the right thing, trying to get rid of these materials, but what they prefer is that if you have stuff that you don't know what it is or don't know how to deal with it, call your local fire department. They will send someone to you to look at the materials and try to determine how to dispose of them. Live in Lauderhill, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News.
Carrie, thank you.